Please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome to this regular meeting of the Attleboro School Committee for Monday, March 10th. This is your notice that this meeting is being electronically recorded. The first item on our agenda tonight is a spotlight event from Brennan Middle School, and for that I will turn it over to Assistant Superintendent Lori Regan.
Thank you, Chairman Geddes. So tonight we're thrilled to welcome students, families, and staff from Brennan Middle School. They're here to share all of the experiences that build a culture of belonging at Brennan. Students here tonight will be talking about the experiences they have during the school day, as well as those that they create in the community. And so to get us started this evening, I'd like to hand it over to Mr. Ashiel Ngambi, principal of Brennan Middle School.
Thank you. Good evening, school committee members and families. I'm excited this evening. This provides an excellent opportunity to highlight some of the work that Brennan Middle School continues to provide to offer, enable to build a rich, engaging learning environment for all students. During my first week at Brennan, when I took over at Brennan, even within the first couple of weeks, I was surprised, but excited to see the rich diversity in our building, the unique experiences that our students and our staff bring to our school community. Our goal is to build a strong sense of belonging and citizenship for every student. We believe that education extends beyond academics. We strive to promote kindness, compassion, and selflessness by exposing our students to diverse people, situations, age groups, and issues, helping them to better relate to and connect with others. Additionally, some of our programs allow students to engage directly with community members, encouraging them to actively support and invest in the local community. So I'd like to present some of our wonderful students, Mova Vaughn, Tyler Grinnell, and Grant Parker, to talk about some of the experiences in these programs that we offer.
So the LA Fund is an organization that is run every October. The LA Fund is a local organization that helps not only the patients but the families that are affected by breast cancer. We as a school support this organization to not only the patients but also the families that are affected by breast cancer. We support them by selling pink bracelets during lunches. The money we raise goes towards the LA Fund. I personally believe that the support from the LA Fund that is provided to others is a heartwarming and strengthening way of spreading awareness on breast cancer and increasing the support individuals get. The LA Fund does many things to support people. Some things include providing services as transportation to and from appointments, childcare, and even housekeeping. Brennan students have been supporting the LA Fund since 2012, and we are continuously going to support this organization for many years to come.
Each year throughout the month of November, students and teachers collect canned goods. A competition is held between homerooms to see who can collect the most, and our goal is to reach 1,000 cans collected each year. These non-perishable food donations support various Attleboro churches and food pantries. This year, Brennan gave to the Murray Unitarian Universalist Church, which helps provide for those in need in the food bank here in Attleboro. This year, Brennan collected 1,038 total cans, meeting our goal.
Each year, because Brennan is a Feinstein Leadership School, we are awarded grants due to our implementation of both of these projects. These projects are completely student-driven, and I've had the privilege of helping out with them both. For the Brennan Pantry, the school holds a food drive and collects donations to put together a pantry filled with food and hygiene products for any students in need. With the grant money we were awarded, we were not only able to restock the pantry items, but we were able to provide 20 Thanksgiving meals to families in need in our Brennan community. Then, the Kindness Tree is a mural of kindness quotes where all students provide examples of ways to show kindness on a daily basis. Each student is given a small heart where they write their example, and it is then hung by volunteers on a wall that connects all the hearts to a giant tree trunk, creating a kindness tree. Both the Brennan Pantry and the Kindness Tree reflect on our school's commitment to compassion, leadership, and unity, shaping a community where every student feels supported, valued, and inspired to give back. This is why it's important to continue these projects as they foster a culture of kindness and generosity that strengthens our school community. At Brennan, National Peace Day is a cherished day that brings our school community together in a meaningful way. One of our most special traditions is our Pinwheels for Peace ceremony that is held annually on September 21st. During this event, our chorus performs a song with a message for peace, staff members share their thoughts, and students recite poems, either original or chosen, that reflect on what peace means to them in the world. In the weeks leading up to National Peace Day, all art classes participate in a unique project where students create pinwheels to display outside of our school. Each student designs a pinwheel with 4 sections, each representing an important aspect of their identity. Pinwheels are often seen as symbols of peace and harmony, visually reinforcing the values of unity and understanding within our school. Each year, I've had the opportunity to read a poem aloud to the school and create a pinwheel, which is an experience I deeply cherish. I've come to realize while writing this that this event is more than just a celebration. It strengthens our sense of community, reminding us of the importance of kindness, inclusivity, and respect for one another. The celebration of National Peace Day at Brennan unites us all, regardless of our differences, which shows how important of a tradition it truly is.
Each month, we have someone from our Brennan community come to our school and talk about their profession. They share information like education needed for the job, salary, why they got into this career, and what their job is on a daily basis. We've had a variety of presentations, including coders from Google, firefighters, and zookeepers here at Cape and Park. These career presenters have helped broaden the career choices for students and introduce them to ones they might not have known existed. It also inspires students to think about future careers they can study for when they go to the high school in a few years. These presentations for me gave ideas of jobs I can use my love of math for and that I will enjoy doing in the future.
Best Buddies is a wonderful program that brings together individuals with and without intellectual disabilities. It pairs participants to engage in activities every other week, fostering meaningful connections. This isn't just a local initiative, it's a global movement that helps people with disabilities to form lasting friendships. For me, Best Buddies has been life-changing. It's taught me how to communicate with a wide variety of people and how important inclusivity is. Best Buddies is also involved with the Special Olympics, an event I participated in last year. I was amazed by the positivity and enthusiasm everyone shared, creating an uplifting environment for all.
So with that, I'm always amazed when I visit these programs, how engaged the students are, but just how much fun they're having and giving back to the community and each other and learning from each other. Once again, we have a group of diverse kids with different backgrounds coming together to support not only the building and the community. So our hope is that these opportunities help build confidence, but also build leadership qualities in all our students. Some of these experiences, as you saw from career presenters, may not be direct action, but these programs invite kids to listen to these journeys. Some of these stories are unique, but consistently highlight values of hard work, commitment, perseverance, and sometimes sacrifice. From U.S. women in nuclear, some of our presenters to the U.S. Army, our major that we had in, and even our small town principal. all these presenters brought their own unique experiences, their life experiences, which is real and relevant to students because they were once members of students in Attleboro who've grown on to be very successful. So all these opportunities play a major role in growing our students. Thank you. Any questions from the committee?
Any questions or comments? Mr. Domenici?
First off, thank you all for coming in to present. It's we probably say to all the kids that come here, it's not easy to get in front of a room full of adults and talk about things that you're passionate about. And I've started, I key in on the key words when I hear from all of you speaking, and things like kindness and generosity, and you fit in challenge and inspire, which is part of our engage, challenge, and inspire theme across the district. Communication, inclusion, coming together, perseverance. These are all just excellent tenets and things that we hope to get out of our students at Attleboro Public Schools. And we've spent a lot of time and emphasis over the last several years in increasing our community engagement. And so it's really cool to see it works in both ways. You reaching out to the community and the community coming back to you to talk about their experiences and hopefully how it started off with a good foundation at Attleboro Public Schools. So congratulations, really appreciate this presentation, and keep up the good work.
Mr. Larson?
First, again, thank you for bringing this to us. It was a great presentation, and some of the programs I know have been going on at Brennan for a long time, and it's great to see that they're still going on and that there's some new programs coming through to emphasize all the hard work that you guys are doing, but more importantly, to expose you to the community and get you start thinking about what your future might look like, and some of the passions that you have and what you might be able to do with those in the future. So it's a great time to start thinking about it, and it sounds like you guys are well on the way, so congratulations.
So I'll echo everyone's sentiments. You guys did a great job tonight, but also Mr. Ngabi at the beginning mentioned that education extends beyond the classroom, and you all talked a lot about, just as it was on the title slide, cultivating that sense of belonging and citizenship. And both of those really start with service, and the amount of service that you're demonstrating and that you're continuing to do at Brennan is incredible. And I know the Best Buddies program that's a model program, like not just for Attleboro. That's a very well-known Best Buddies partnership. So congratulations to all of you. Brennan staff, you have a lot to share pride in. So congratulations to you all also, and thank you for sharing all of these with us tonight. As has become customary, if any parents would like to take a moment to come around and get a picture of your students at the table, we'll pause for a moment while you come around. Don't be shy. There's plenty of room, don't worry. That was some impressive photo bombing by a parent as well. So congratulations again. Thank you all very much for coming. And as also is customary, typically, if you would like to stay for the rest of the meeting, you are more than welcome to, but please do not feel obliged. So thank you all and congratulations. So as these folks either head out or get more comfortable, next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report, and for that I will turn it over to Mr. Sawyer.
Thank you, Chairman. I have a few brief updates for the committee this evening. The first is related to ACEPAC. I know that there was a question last week about ACEPAC. As the committee knows, having a local CPAC is a both legal and regulatory requirement in Massachusetts, but fundamentally, as a CPAC has its separate bylaws, its own officers, its own procedures, it's an independent organization that we have a responsibility to support. And the memo that Ms. Medeiros sent you all back in November outlined the things that we're doing to support a new group of people's attempt to breathe life into our local CPAC. and quite a few activities, as outlined in the memo, have occurred. But it was important for the committee to know, and the community at large who is perhaps watching at home, is that they have a meeting scheduled for March 20th at 6:30, from 6:30 to 7:30, here in the Zito Conference Room at Attleboro High School. So they are certainly trying to get the word out that that meeting is occurring, and hoping that interested parents will join them for that meeting again on March 20th.
And for anyone that hasn't been to the Zito conference room yet, that may be interested in coming to the ACEPAC meeting, you can access the Zito conference room through the central office entrance at the front of the building.
Thank you.
Any ACEPAC questions from the committee?
Second item, just wanted to update the committee that there's nothing new on the budget front. As I talked about at the last meeting, we are anticipating holding our annual budget hearing on April 7th. For that to happen, we need to arrive, at a number with City Hall by March 31st. And so nothing has happened in the last 2 weeks in one direction or the other. So I know they're working hard, and we remain optimistic that we're going to be able to keep the timeline that we normally do. But we'll keep the committee informed if we end up in a situation where we need to make an adjustment to that. So at this point, still on track, but it hasn't been concluded yet. So there is the potential still for a problem. So we'll keep everybody informed.
Thank you. Any questions about budget or funding? So I will say at our joint meeting in January with the Municipal Council, I made reference to an attempt to meet with Senator Feeney as a follow-up to an event he hosted last year related to educational funding. That meeting, Senator Feeney's staff has reached out to Superintendent Sawyer and I. We're going to be meeting this Wednesday with Senator Feeney, and I believe it's the chair of the Senate Committee on Education. So this is not anything that is going to impact funding for fiscal year '26. We know that in a lot of ways that ship has sailed from the from the state perspective, but this is more for us trying to get an opportunity to be more involved in long-term planning. So we'll see what happens there.
And then finally, I just wanted to reiterate to the committee what I've already stated in last Friday's update, that last week it struck me how articles in some lead media outlets, while slightly different in terms of what their angle on the story was, were exploring the idea that the big trend in education right now in high schools is to do a better job with providing career and technical education, and to provide opportunities for students to have those experiences. And I just really feel like lost sometimes in our discussion here locally about the schools is that I truly believe we are the only high school in the state that is able to offer a Chapter 74 program for every high school student in their local school. Certainly students who go to a regional as part of an agreement, which is what most high schoolers face in Massachusetts. They have a seat at that school, but that's a school often in another community that they have to take a bus ride to get to out of town. Here in Attleboro, we have the high school right in town, and we can meet the needs of every student. So it's really an exceptional thing that we're doing. We were well ahead of the curve. The design of this building provides an opportunity that literally is unmatched as far as we can tell anywhere else. So it was a nice affirmation in reading those stories that we are doing something that is quite special and very well attuned to the moment that we're seeing in terms of what families are looking for from an educational experience for their high schoolers.
Any questions or comments?
That concludes my report.
Thank you, Superintendent Sawyer. Before we move on to the minutes, I wanted to go back to the superintendent's report from our last meeting briefly. I wanted to just underscore the superintendent's comments related to special education in the district. We know that we're not a perfect district. I think everyone on this committee knows that, but we do, and I shouldn't even say we, our educators, administrators, everyone in the district works as hard as they can to support all of our students to the best of their abilities. We were asked back in February to look into that one specific situation, and I agree with the superintendent's assessment that from what I could see looking into that situation, there were no violation of any laws or civil rights or anything along those lines. But I want to put that into a perspective of reminding the community of what the school committee's role is. Because we do always want to hear concerns from parents. We want to know when parents do not feel like their students are properly being served by the district. And we want to help with that as much as we can and represent the community in that way. But no one at this table is a special education professional or a K to 12 plus, pre-K to 12 plus professional. So as much as we want to hear those concerns, we want to help get those concerns addressed. We're not necessarily equipped as committee members to come to resolutions. And so we'll certainly work with the administration to the best of our ability to help students' concerns, help address student and family concerns. I want to pause. Does anybody have any questions? Superintendent Sawyer, I don't know if you want to add anything. Thank you. Next item on the agenda are the minutes from our regular meeting of February 24th and our special meeting of March 5th. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Any edits, updates, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next is our consent agenda. We have 4 items on the consent agenda. I will take all 4 as one motion unless anyone has any concerns. Seeing none, we have a motion to send to the Municipal Council for approval a prior year invoice in the amount of $1,095. Motion to accept the generous donation of a total of 14 new cleats and basketball shoes to the girls' softball and basketball teams at the high school with an estimated value of $700 for underprivileged athletes from the Sugalski family. I apologize if I mispronounced that. Motion to accept a contractual obligation in the amount of $44.70 from Bay State Textiles to Hill Roberts Elementary School. And a motion to accept a donation of writing journals for all 3rd grade students from the Attleboro Elks Lodge, number 1014. These journals will replace the dictionaries that the Elks used to provide each year and have a total value of $2,221.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Any comments, questions, thoughts? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda are our subcommittee meetings, updates, excuse me. We'll start with our Infrastructure and Facilities Subcommittee, which met on February 25th, and for that report, I'll turn it over to Mr. Domenici.
Thank you, Chairman. Just one quick correction. We met on Wednesday, the 26th. And thank you to my committee members because we had to move that out a couple of weeks. So thanks for the flexibility there. And we also had Mr. Furtado, Ms. Perella, and Mr. Parento, as well as Judy, attended at the meeting. So after approving minutes, we have a lot of agenda item updates. I don't have any motions to bring forward, so this will just be an update. The first is an update on the parking lot projects. We have some ongoing project planning for parking lot improvements at Hyman Fine, Studley Elementary, and Thatcher. The parking lot projects were brought before the Conservation Committee because that has to be reviewed and approved by them before any plans to go forward can take place. They approved the Hyman Fine and Studley Elementary School projects, so those will go out to bid, and the work will be done over the summer, provided that we have the necessary funding to go forward. The Thatcher parking lot, which is a little bit more intensive because it's gonna, the bus loop in the front corner of the building is gonna be updated to bring in an additional 25 to 30 spots. So it'll help with some much-needed parking challenges at the elementary school. But there was some additional conservation concerns, so they didn't go forward to approve the plan. But the plan was to go and discuss at their March meeting. And hopefully from there, once that's approved, that's another project that would be done over the summer. While the parking spaces won't fully resolve all the parking problems, because we're limited to how many we can add due to conservation regulations, it'll be a significant increase, and hopefully that'll provide some much-needed relief to the area. Excuse me. Additionally, we had an update on some access control systems within our middle school and elementary schools, an opportunity to improve and put some measures in place. A project will go out to bid with the initial focus being placed first on the elementary schools. So, Mr. Furtado, I don't know if we've had any movement on that since the meeting. So, but it is in the planning stage. So, we also talked about, along with the access controls, the school phone system. So, with the exception of this brand new high school new phone systems, we're looking to get the middle schools and elementary schools updated with the same phone system, so everybody's connected in. Previously, we tend to get the phone systems where we can from vendors. This time around, we actually do have a vendor that's going to make these updates. No additional cost to the district. It's going to be the same phone rates that we currently have. This will take a couple of weeks per school. And so the intention is to do the project over the summer while it's the least intrusive. We don't want to, try to work on that stuff while school's in session. So, so that's good news. And then we can pivot a little bit to the high school. Few items on here. The solar panel is something that we're constantly asking about. As folks may be aware, we have a solar canopy out in the parking lots. The goal being to provide some electrical relief here within the building itself. We are still waiting on National Grid to give us the full authority to go forward. For whatever reason, this item continues to be in limbo, and we end up having to submit the application several times because it expires. So the last update we have is that we've once again submitted our request to go forward and get this canopy turned on. It's a little bit of, I think I can speak pretty candidly for the committee and probably everybody at this table to say it's been very frustrating since we're in our third year of operation in the building, and that still has not been resolved. So we continue to push. The mayor's office and administration continue to push, and hopefully the next time we have a meeting, I'll have some better news on that one. Moving forward, front lights. Once again, these tend to be a little bit of a bugaboo here, the front blue lights. We go a few weeks and things look great when they've been replaced, and then shortly thereafter we start seeing some challenges. And once again, we had a new vendor on site to make an assessment of what was needed. They did a reinstallation. At that time, the light worked, but now at this point they're not. So we're still trying to figure out where the issue lies. The one good thing that I'll say is that all of this is under warranty. There is no additional cost to the district to get this right. So they're looking at a possible next step of looking inside at the control panels to see if perhaps the issue is there. So I wish I had better news, but at least it's being actively worked on. We got a quick update on high school drainage. 3 things were done because at one point in time we had, based on some work being done and some heavy rain, there was some flooding out on Rathbun Willard, and we wanted to make sure that that wasn't going to continue to be an issue. So There was a deep time aeration done, maintenance to the drainage on the street, and a flushing of the irrigation system. And this combination has seemed to have alleviated the issue. We've since had more rain and precipitation, and there's been no issue. So we hope at this point it's the last update I have to give, and that's good news. Continuing on the good news bandwagon, the school camera project. We talked about this before, but again, new school, new camera system here at the high school. The goal is to get those to get new cameras in a similar light at all the other 8 buildings that we have. The installations were completed by end of year. Everything looks great. There's more cameras, more proficiency, better range across all the other 8 schools. So that's great news. We're just finishing up some housekeeping at the end of the project to close it out. And so this was good work done, and we're excited to have that. In particular, the older elementary schools, Hill Roberts and Hyman Fine, previously, like while they had cameras, there was limited range as to where they could put them. So this project really helped bring them up to speed with the rest of the buildings now. So, and then I think every building ended up with significantly more cameras around the property. So we're excited about that work. And then we asked as a committee about an update on the redistricting project. The vendor is still completing their assessment. They should be getting a report in the coming weeks. Hopefully my colleague, Mr. Larson, when he has another budget meeting, maybe we'll have a little bit more information. We don't meet quite as often, but they're working their way through. We talked about potential starts of the project once the assessment is complete. One of the things to consider is the timing around kindergarten and transportation registration, which will begin, as they do every year, in the beginning of this month. So combination of the vendor doing their work and the administration doing the assessment will help us determine exactly what comes out of the project and when we're able to go forward on it. So hopefully, like I said, we'll get some updates in upcoming subcommittee meetings. And then one last item. So we had a lot of carpet and flooring work done throughout the district, and that's an ongoing project. And I talked with Mr. Furtado. In particular, we were talking about Studley, but essentially it's an ongoing project. So while we completed the initial work at hand, we will continue to assess other areas where carpet updates or flooring updates need to be made, and continue to do that good work. So once that's our update here. And then just to say that once we finished, since we were at Thatcher Elementary, we were able to take a look at some of the work that was done. And in particular, there was a huge space downstairs that was originally storage that was just, I couldn't believe what it looked like now. So it's now like an assessment area that the elementary school is using. It's huge space, but it's opened up, it's cleaned out. I mean, I'm trying to think of the size of what we saw. It's probably at least wall to wall here and then table to table. So it's a pretty significant amount of space that was originally just full of a lot of storage. And a lot of it we just didn't need. So a combination of cleaning that out and putting that area to good use has added some additional efficiency within that building. And Mark and Jason and the staff should be commended for the work that's been done over there. And a lot of that, again, ties into the fact that with this new building and, the maintenance that we used to have to spend time and calories on in the old high school doesn't exist here. It allows that crew to do more work across the other buildings in the district. So, and that's just another example of that good work, and that crew should be commended for it. And that completes my update at this time.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Domenici? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next is our Policy and Personnel Subcommittee that met on Monday, March 3rd, and for that, I will turn it over to Mr. Storrs.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The policy subcommittee focused on finishing up Section A of our policy binder, and we got well into Section B, plus we have a few other policies as well. Everything was voted out by the subcommittee unanimously, and I'll take it in sections like I always do, put them right up for a vote. So the first section It's a recommendation to note the review date on the following policies as they already align with MASC. Policy AA, school district legal status. AB, the people in their school district. ACE, non-discrimination on the basis of disability. ADC, tobacco products on school premises prohibited. ADDA, background checks. ADDA-R1, DCJIS model query policy. AE, commitment to accomplishment. BAA, evaluation of school committee operational procedures. BBA, school committee powers and duties. BBAA, school committee authority, member authority. BBBA/BBBB, school committee member qualifications / oath of office. BBBC, school committee member resignation. BCA, school committee member ethics. BDD, school committee superintendent relationship. BDF, advisory committees to the school committee. BE, school committee meetings. BEDA, notification of school committee meetings. BEDB, agenda format. BEDF, voting method. BEE, special procedures for conducting hearings. BGC, policy revision and reviews. BGD, school committee review of procedures. BGE, policy dissemination. BGF, suspension of policies. BHC, school committee staff communications. BIA, new school committee member orientation. And BK, school committee memberships. Lots of work. So putting those right up for discussion. Does anybody want me to take any of those up separately? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Next. Motion note the review date of policy 80A, APS strategic plan as presented. There is no mass policy for this one, so this meets our needs as is. Put that right up to discussion. Are there any questions or anything regarding policy 80A? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous. Next, we have a motion to approve minor edits to policy ADF, health and wellness as presented. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous. Next, we have a motion to approve minor edits to the following policies as presented so that they align with MASC. BEDD, rules of order. BGB, policy adoption. GBEA, staff ethics and conflict of interest, as well as GBEBC, gifts to and solicitations by staff. I'll put those up for discussion. Does anybody want me to take any of those separately? Seeing none, I'll put those up for discussion. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Next, we have a motion to approve edits to policy IMG, animals in schools as presented. I'll put that up for discussion. Is there any questions, issues? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous. I've been waiting for this one for a while now. So we have a motion to remove policies EBC-S, COVID-related issues, and EBCFA, face coverings. Long time in the coming. Put those up for discussion. Any questions, discussion regarding removal of those policies? They are hopefully not going to be needed anytime ever. All right, seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Next, we have a motion to approve minor edits to the Attleboro Public Schools handbooks as reflected in the Assistant Superintendent's memo dated February 14th, 2025, as directed by legal counsel. That was provided to all the members. I'll put that up to discussion. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous. Next, we have a motion to approve the edits to the data and integration specialist job description as presented. Those were provided to the members. Put that up for discussion. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous. Next, we have a motion to approve the ATO teaching assistant job description as presented. Again, provided to the members. Put that up for discussion. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous. We have a motion to note the review date for the Director of Finance and Controller job description as presented. So this already existed. We didn't make any changes to it. We're just noting the review date. I'll put that up to discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous. And lastly, we have a motion to approve the new Director of Operations job description as presented. That was provided to the members. I'll put that up to discussion. Any questions on the new job description? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous. And that, Mr. Chairman, concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Storrs. Our last subcommittee update for tonight is Finance and Budget from their March 4th meeting, and for that, I will turn it over to Mr. Larson.
Thank you, Mr. Geddes. So the committee met March 5th, and we went through the monthly budget reports. And at this time, the budget is performing well, so we don't envision any major issues between now and the end of the budget year. We do have one motion coming forward, but I'm going to go a little out of order. Mr. Domenici touched on it a little bit. We did have an update on redistricting at the meeting, and so I just want to update the committee on this. So Ross Haber has been in town, as we said that they were going to be coming. That did happen, and it was a good opportunity for them to visit our schools and see where we're at. The webpage is continuing to be worked on, and that should be available to the public relatively soon. There will be surveys as part of this process going out to the families. We kind of envision that in the next month or so, maybe 2 months. And in April, we thought it might have been in March, but it looks like the community engagement will be starting in April. And the schools will be notifying the families, and we'll obviously let the community know once those dates have been set. Because of the fact that we are well into kindergarten registration and school bus registration for next year, and the redistricting process has not been completed, it's been decided that instead of trying to do something that could end up being a poor rollout for next September, we are going to push the rollout of the redistricting to the 26-27 school year. And that way, we will have everything in place when we go to do kindergarten registration a year from now. It'll give us a little bit more time to engage with the community so that everybody feels comfortable with what's going to be happening. I know everybody involved was kind of hoping that it could happen this fall, but there are just these circumstances that have come up that for it to really be successful, it makes much more sense for it to happen for the 26-27 school year. So we will continue to get updates, and we will continue to update the community and the committee as we go forward. Again, I need to publicly thank the O&I Council for all the hard work and hours that they're putting into this project. They are really doing a fantastic job working with the consultant and with Brittany, and really ushering this project through. And from what I can see, it's going to be a huge success. So I'll pause there before I get to the motion if there's any questions about redistricting or anything else. Yes, Mr. Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Larson. When it comes to redistricting moving out a year, will that data still be current? I know they're doing a lot of work to figure out how many people live where and what capacity is at what school before they move things around.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I think, part of the plan, obviously, will have to get possibly tweaked. But I think also part of what they're looking at is, going forward and working with the planning department and working with the administration on projecting where we see schools in the future needing to be adjusted. I don't think that's going to differ a whole lot between now and a year from now.
I hope not. It would be a good test of their projections, though.
It would be a very good test of their projections, but yeah, we had that question, and the committee and the council at this point, working with the consultant, don't feel that there'll be a drastic change in the course of the 1 year that we're going to move it out. But we'll continue to monitor it and see if there's things that happen over the next few months.
Thank you.
Mr. Storrs.
Thank you. As far as the group that's doing the assessment, are they looking at planned developments within the city so that they can project?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, part of their process is to work with the planning department at City Hall and see not only what is actually on the books, but what, in the planning department's opinion, what areas of the city could be developed in the future, so that they account for that in their process.
Thank you.
Other questions? All right. As I said, I will continue to keep the committee updated as we go forward with this process. And lastly, touching on, again, a subject that the superintendent mentioned, we have one motion to bring forward. It's a recommendation from the committee, motion to approve the posting of the FY26 budget hearing, which will be held on Monday, April 7th, 2025 at 6:15 here in the Francis Zito Conference Room.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? This is the opportunity, if the general public wants to come and air any discussion or concerns that they have with our budget that will be printed in the paper, they're welcome to come and let us know what their thoughts are. I will give the caveat of that we can submit almost any budget we want to City Hall, and then what comes back may or may not be similar. So, but we do our best to present what we think is in the best interest of the district, and we will have that number for you on the 7th. All that, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Larson. Next item on our agenda is open forum. This is a time when members of the public may address the school committee. Open forum is not a time for committee members to engage in dialogue with members of the public. Guidelines for open forum are available to you. Please know that we are interested in what you have to say, but we cannot respond without background information on your issue. Each open forum participant will be given 3 minutes to address the committee. If you would like to address the committee, please come forward to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Joey Ford, 44 Smith Street. I want to apologize to anyone listening. I have to do this really fast because these guys are sticklers about time. I'm here tonight to express extreme concern about the future of the Attleboro Public Schools. As many of you know by now, I have been involved in an ongoing battle with the district to ensure that my son Loki receives the education that he is legally and ethically entitled to. Loki is not my only child, nor the only one with disabilities. I also have a son named Onyx, who is currently attending Thatcher Elementary School in pre-K and will be entering kindergarten in fall with an IEP. Given the fact that there are 3 special needs teachers right now missing from Thatcher, as stated by Superintendent Sawyer last meeting, combined with no progress towards resolving these vacancies, there is significant concern that Onyx will be suffering from the same inequities that his older brother has. Throughout the battle for Loki, I have learned a lot about the widespread failures that exist within this district and all public schools. This district would rather play whack-a-mole, settling and fixing issues one student at a time instead of addressing the ongoing problems at hand through permanent solutions and accountability. Oversight agencies and the district prefer a settlement over full investigations and corrective actions. This has been proven true with the responses and offers from the district, who are willing to send Loki out of the district, expenses paid, but only on the contingencies of the existing issues being swept under the rug, along with the withdrawal of the existing unfulfilled public records requests that are aimed at bringing transparency to the ongoing systemic issues that affect not only both of my sons' access to FAPE within a safe and supervised environment, but also all of the children in the district. What are they so desperate to hide from the public? How can we trust them after a special needs teacher slapped up 2 nonverbal autistic children, blind children injured while left unsupervised, and others left in soiled diapers? If I accept the terms as presented, no action or oversight will be required moving forward, limiting Onyx's chances of receiving what he and all of the other children are entitled to without litigating a brand new fight. This is unethical, and I will not accept them, nor should any parent. These issues exist because permanent solutions are never enacted or enforced due to these settlements, passing the burden on to the next family, ultimately protecting the district and putting the children's needs last. It is time for change. Agencies such as the Office of Civil Rights, Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, and the Massachusetts Attorney General's Office have the authority to investigate individual, classroom-wide, and district-wide violations. This is how real change is made. Parents in this district must unite now to coordinate their efforts with one another to litigate these systemic issues, ultimately bringing positive, meaningful, and lasting change to the entire district. Filing with these agencies is quite the undertaking, and I am willing to help guide any parents throughout this process in an effort to enact meaningful change for all students in Attleboro. I suggest using generative AI tools such as ChatGPT to write out formal complaints. To any parents and students, especially those who sit on this board, I urge you to email me at parentdataforce@proton.me with all of the issues that you have encountered within this district so that both the classroom-wide and district-wide cases may be coordinated. Have no fear. This district relies on your fear of retaliation as well as isolation from one another to keep these issues hidden and prevent parents from coming forward. Your information will remain confidential and collective action reduces individualized risk. I urge all parents to come forward immediately. The more parents who step up, the safer and stronger our position will be. Please do not let my sacrifice be for nothing. And remember, your child could be next. Open your mouth for the mute, for the rights of all who are unfortunate and
Mr. Chairman,
defenseless.
this is 3
Open
minutes.
your mouth, judge righteously, and administer justice for the afflicted and needy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Is there anyone else that would like to address the committee as part of open forum?
Hi, my name is Deborah Bennett, 328 Thatcher Street, here in Attleboro. Good evening, members of the school board. My name is Deb Bennett. I'm here not only as a mother to Landon and Christopher, but also as someone who has seen the frustrations of many other parents in our district. I have heard their concerns about children not getting the support they need, and I am determined to make sure my boys do not face the same struggles. Landon's been diagnosed with ADHD, PTSD, and ODD. His therapist, behavioral specialist, and I agree that he needs to be in a therapeutic school. Unfortunately, despite this support, the school has disagreed. As a result, Landon has spent more time out of the classroom due to behavioral issues than actually learning. His outburst disrupts not only his education, but also that of his classmates. The school's suggestion to advance him to 3rd grade despite struggling with 2nd grade material felt more like managing a problem than solving it. In an attempt to support him, I chose to homeschool, but his behavioral challenges and noncompliance have made this incredibly difficult. Landon needs a structured environment tailored to his needs, something only a therapeutic school can provide. Without this support, he risks falling even further behind academically and emotionally. I am also deeply concerned about my younger son, Christopher, who is nonverbal. I do not want to face the same resistance from the school when he needs specialized support. As their mother, I know my children's needs better than anyone, and I will not stop fighting until they receive the education and support that they deserve. I understand that the board cannot change IEP terms directly, but you do have the power to influence systematic change. I urge you to look closely at how special education services are managed in our district and push for improvements that truly meet the needs of every child. Thank you for your time and for listening to my concerns. I hope you will consider my words and work towards meaningful changes that benefit all of our children. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Bennett. Is there anyone else that would like to address the committee? Excuse me, address the committee?
Hi. Sorry, I'm just recovering from pneumonia and then I'm also deaf, so I will have an interpreter here with me. I think Matt and his brother, so I appreciate having him there. I'll be taking turns dining and talking.
I'm a proud member of the Attleboro School District. I have 4 kids that went through Attleboro. 2 of them have 504 plans, and you all know me. I'm Christine Stratemeyer. I've been involved for many, many years. I am really grateful for having interpreters for accommodations for all of my different meetings, for IEPs and 504 plans. I really appreciate you all. I really appreciate, I'm not really sure. I would like to have an extension because I am using dual language. I'm an educator, and also I am in education as I I'm a director for the Reed's Deaf and Hard of Hearing program, and we have Attleboro students that come to our program for deaf and hard of hearing children. I am deaf myself, and I did not really have an IEP meeting when I was a student. So I went to the collaborative program, and I had accommodations with interpreters, but without their support, I would not be here today. I would have language deprivation or other issues. I want to share my personal experience about the importance of access for education for all students. We still have students today that are struggling to get access to communication. It's not only in this area, but in the state. There are parents who are willing to fight and have lawyers come and be involved. I really had a wonderful experience at Studley Elementary with my kids, having accommodations and all of the information that we needed. And it's really heartbreaking to hear that there are parents in Attleboro who are also struggling for accommodations. Having to come to fight and face all of that stress, and it's a very heartbreaking experience for the parents as well as the children. You're denying a child of access to communication by not providing any services for them. This is what they need for expression. This is what they need for learning. This is not a way to avoid any outbursts, but we want to make sure that all children are provided the education that they deserve. My concern is that, if these parents are being ignored and students are being left behind, what do we do? You must have assistive devices for all students who are unable to have
As an administrator myself, I understand the challenges of school and the school-wide, obviously with budget cuts, district cuts, and teacher cuts. That is not acceptable to support students who have disabilities. As an educator, we need to have the proper training. Obviously, there's no proper training for any special education, even on the board. We had 4 special education teachers who had left, 4 of them left in 1 year. That's concerning, and they were not receiving any support from the board. To provide intervention strategies, nothing was provided. What led to them leaving? Why were those students required special services and then had to go back to the public school districts without any of those special requirements set in place? These other programs do have them. Students like Yogi, and without their assistive devices, and many other families are facing the same issue I am, fighting for their legal rights. The district should be able to consider those and to have a support in place for them. I work closely with all these families, like them and others who have just spoke, in the program. I support the staff as well too. I do. I hear them. And I get them what they need. I hear the students and what they need, and I provide them what they need. And I will keep fighting for it.
Ms. Stratemeyer, I'm just going to have you pause. We're giving you some extra time for the interpretation. We'll give you
I'm almost
one more
done. Let me
minute.
catch up. So we had one regional fight over TVI, telephonic vision assistance. They wanted to get somebody down to California to discuss about this with a student. We fought over that. We had brought it over to attorney. 1 week later, after a year, 1 year and a week later, they ended up getting the TVI specialist. The stress is unexcusable, and it's stressful for our family and all that. And we need to get these tools for the students and for our educators as well. Parents should not have to continue to fight for the students' right and their child's need. The district should be responsible for this and to also get the needs and rights for the students and support, not because it's only a legal requirement, but it's also because it's the right thing to do. I am in full support of those families, and truly, I am trying to have the district mediate this and to be more involved and to have a safe, inclusive learning environment for all. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stratemeyer. Ms. Stratemeyer, can we please have your address for the record?
22 Connor Court.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the committee as part of open forum?
Good evening. I spoke last time in regards to my son Hunter DeGeorge with Stelly Elementary and the safety. I kind of got a little leeway with that because the next day at 9 a.m. I had the behavioral plan that they said they never had in my email.
I'm sorry, your name, please?
Jennifer?
Jennifer, thank you.
So I have his behavioral plan that special education Eli Medros told me that didn't exist. It's here from last year that the assistant principal made herself. I also have a safety plan now that I asked for in December, didn't get until I came here for this meeting. I'm here because I also got another report that I had to ask for because I know I addressed this last time. My son tried again to harm himself in the classroom. Okay? He ran around the classroom telling everybody he wanted to kill himself again. And then went over to the mini blind to grab the cord again. Only this time, there was 4 teachers in that classroom that was able to stop him from grabbing that cord. My son was able to calm himself down because it didn't require a restraint or a 2-person assist to drag him out of the class to a smaller room. They weren't going to write anything up and send it home. I only had to ask for them. And I do appreciate the teachers and the paras that are in the classroom. But when I tell you, when I asked for a report because of how severe it was, and I'm being told it's really not that serious, there's a problem. My son ran around a classroom saying he wanted to kill himself again, okay? And then tried to grab the cord. I have this report. Now they're taking precautions of wrapping the cords up so he can't reach them. Who's to says he doesn't go into another classroom and try to do it? I'm afraid my son's not going to come home one day because of the support he's not getting that special education is saying he doesn't require because they feel he doesn't need it. Well, obviously, marks around my son's neck and reports that he's trying to kill himself because he's overstimulated or does not know how to deal with a transition. He requires support. So I'm asking Mr. Sawyer, who is sitting there, you do have control over special education, to at least help me get him the support he needs. Because I can't, the next report, I'm afraid it's going to be a different outcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. George.
McKay Street, Attleboro.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the committee as part of open forum? Seeing none, I will close open forum. For those of you that read prepared statements, if you would like those to be included as part of the public record for tonight's meeting, please feel free to email those to me. As far as upcoming meetings for the meetings and events, important dates for the community to know. Tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m., our Teaching and Learning Subcommittee meeting will be happening here in the Zito Conference Room. A reminder to the community for the Night to Discover on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, March 12th, starting at 6 p.m. This Friday is an early release day for the entire district, and there is no school for the ELC this Friday. Next Friday, March 21st, there is early release only for Attleboro High School. And then our next full committee meeting is scheduled for March 24th here in the Zito Conference Room at 6:30 p.m. Is there any other updates or new business from anyone on the committee? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you.